magnify situations and also inspire people.
The talk show.
The Black woman created this.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Sundays with the Cherry on Top. I am your host, Cherry. I'm sorry for the delay, just some technical difficulties, but we got everything's on track. You see me smiling, my face, I'm glowing. I'm really excited to have my next guest come on. I've known her for a long, long time, and I'm really excited to just sit down and chop it up with her. Before we get started, like always, be sure to find me on social media at Sundays with the Cherry on Top. On Instagram, and you can find me on Twitter, Sundays with Cherry, and throughout the interview, you will be able to find them in the chat as well. So you can go there, follow me, see some past episode snippets and commercial snippets, and just all things Sundays with the Cherry on Top. It's a new day. Can you feel a brand new day? Yes, because for those who voted for Biden, Biden is out there, and he's the president-elect. So now I'm just really, now the next thing, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I do know that January he gets sworn in, and then we just start to just make some changes. Whew, yes, but let me tell you something. Can I just say my whole building started banging pots and pans, and my whole building was just screaming, and people were going out to the courtyard. There were cars honking, parties galore. My mom called me and was like, don't be in the streets in these parties with your mask on. So she was like, she's like, if you have to go to the store, but don't be at the parties, even though I want to be at the parties. So, but I'm, breathing a little bit easier today. A lot of tension has been let go. And so we just have to just move forward with all of this. So yeah. So with that said, before I bring on my next guest, Miss Nikiya Mathis, you guys know how I like to start each interview with some fun facts, right? This is my way of getting to know the people in my life, because even though they're in my life and I've known them for a while, I like to learn something new about them. And these are some things about Nikiya that I didn't know. I was like, my girl is doing the most out here. Yes, I was so excited to find these out. She was on the forensic team in high school, okay, debate team, okay. And that's when she started her journey to become a writer, which I didn't know that she really wrote. She actually wrote a Black Nativity musical called One Night Only. And I was like, what was I? Was I in the country? Because I sure would have been there. But anyway, I'm excited. I found that so dope. She does a lot of poetry. She's a mentor, and she's mentored with the NAACP ACT-SO program. And so she is just a world, I don't know the word I'm looking for, because I just can't find one for her greatness, but she's just a well-rounded, I guess I should say, Renaissance woman. That's coming to me right now too. Artist. So with that said, and the fun facts out the way, you know how we do. Let's bring on my guest, Nikiya Mathis. Yeah.
Hey, girl, hey.
Oh my gosh. I'm so happy to see your face.
Yes, you too.
It's been a minute, but I'm just so glad that you were able to be here with me today. And you just look beautiful and gorgeous as always, and just always glowing. And the one thing I love about you is that you always have a smile on your face. And so I appreciate that, even if things are going tough sometimes. I just know that when I see you, that smile that you have just makes me happy. So just seeing you now just makes me want to dance. But with that said, I want to start, but I like to start each interview with a check-in, right? And so one of the reasons why I started this show is because we've been going through a lot of dark times these past 4 years, and I know in our community there's been a lot of ups and downs. And so now that we have the results in from this election and Biden is the president-elect, how are you feeling? I mean, what's your check-in today? Woo!
Oh my God, I feel amazing. I think even more, well, first of all, I feel like God, you are up on high, looking down low on us. Thank you. I also feel like really moved by Kamala Harris. Like,
Mhm.
this is another one of those like moments where I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Now I see that it is possible, or like I see that it is possible for my daughter, for my children.
Mhm.
So I'm grateful, and just like for all the Black people who have been like on the ground, actually moving moving the race forward, or doing what they needed to do to like help Black people vote and like actually take power, and actually reminding us that, hey, I know you thought like you actually really had no say and had no voice, but you actually might have more of a voice than you think. Let me help you understand and gain some more knowledge. So that's been amazing to see, like us
Yeah.
come together and say, nah, we ain't gonna let them take
Go
this.
out like this.
Exactly. Yeah, totally.
And we have to pay
Mhm.
that homage to Stacey Abrams, man, who just
Right.
she, in Atlanta alone, 800,000 new voters voted. On top of it.
Crazy.
So like that's just so amazing to me. And so just all the work she's been doing on the ground, and it's just a lesson to learn because I believe, for me, I'm only speaking for myself, that seat was stolen from her. And
Yes.
even with that, she went out. She didn't get bitter. She didn't say, get revenge. She was just like, hold my earrings. And she went out there and put up a fight and got the community to come out in droves and numbers in ways we have never seen, just to
Yes.
save our democracy. And I just find that to be such a huge lesson because
Mhm.
for me, I mean, if I were to run and have my seat stolen in that way, I just know the heartbreak, right? I can imagine the heartbreak.
Yes.
But the fact is that she worked through that and pushed through that and thought it's bigger than you. Like my pastor was saying,
Totally.
it's bigger than
You know,
us, right?
it's so funny. I was just actually having a conversation earlier about voting. So a few friends, one of my friends said, I vote every 4 years, but I don't really feel like anything is going to change for me as a Black person in this country. And I had another friend who said, like, that's not really actually the point. The point is that we plant seeds. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's actually our job, and not to wait for the flowers, right? Because our flowers have come before, through our ancestors, through generations before. And now it's time for us to plant seeds for the future. So it feels like that's what she did. Like she knew her purpose. Like the purpose might not be that I get that thing that I was trying to achieve today, but actually the purpose is actually greater. The vision is greater. So I'm going to work for that. And I think that that's what's important, because so often, like even as actors, we're like, we audition and it's like, I want to get the job. And it's like, yeah, but on the job, what's your purpose, right? Why are you there? What are you doing for the community? What are you doing for some little Black girl, that's watching you on TV? It's not just about like getting the accolade. It's about like, when I pass away, like what did I leave behind for real,
Yeah.
for real? So
What's
yeah.
what's your legacy, right? Because I was
Yeah.
salty at Biden when, I'm glad this Kamala Harris because like that for me is just like the history. But I remember when Stacey Abrams wasn't on his short list, and I was
Mhm.
salty. I was like, you didn't put Stacey Abrams on the
No,
short
I feel
list.
you.
VP, I was so salty. But then hindsight's 2020. But the
Mhm.
conversation, she's probably like, nah, son, I'm gonna be in Georgia. I gotta, I'll help you do
Yeah.
this. But if she was to be on the short list and if she was the nominee, who's to say that the votes would have come out the way that they did? So just the way that they were
Absolutely.
playing chess and we didn't know, but I was a little salty. So if Biden watches this
No,
later, I just know he made up for it, but still.
yes, no, I agree. I agree. But there's something, it's so interesting because there's something about Black women. And it's like, yo, so I didn't make it to that seat. But as a Black woman, I'm going to help this other, Black woman make it, like that. We just like ultimately work for each other and work in support of each other.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's a good check-in. Yeah, today's a good day. So that leads me. I want to go to my next question. Segue to my first question of this interview for you is your love of acting, right? Because you have this extensive resume. You've worked with Dominique Morisseau and Skeleton
Mhm.
Crew, and you
Yes.
knowledge, all the way just from just fabulation, right? And then, with Margie in Milk Like Sugar. And so,
Yes.
and the thing about that picture that I love is that that's Angela Lewis, who's on
Mhm.
Snowfall, which, we can't talk a lot about it, but you're going to be on Snowfall soon. And let's, and
So
then
yeah,
over
something like that.
on the right, Sharice Booth, who you were with in Fabulation. So just, the love that, we were talking about how us Black women, we just, just are so connected. That's just, I love that picture because there's 3 women in that picture that I adore and love and respect their talent. So
Totally. It's so interesting because the shenanigans are, I remember my first major professional job in New York. Angela was my understudy. Right.
wow.
Then, it just shows you just like how things evolve. She was my understudy. Then we get into this show and she was essentially the lead. Now she's the lead on the, and it's just also like indicative of you just never know people's journey. Treat everybody well, but also like, you can start somewhere and somebody else can move up and we just help each other evolve and help each other climb. So like, I'm so proud of her. And like Sharice, like all of them are now like my just long-term friends and we just like support and love each other. So yeah.
And so when you were on set, this is just some nuances of the question. Seeing her must have been like, oh my gosh, so much Black joy in these crazy times, because this is before the results, before, voting happened. So how was it like just to be able to be there and you guys kikiing it?
Yeah, no, it was amazing. I mean, first of all, like just to be able to like be acting with a friend is just like, it's like, it's just the icing on the cake. And we go back so far. It's just like, I don't know, like I couldn't ask for actually anything more because like there's just like a comfort level. It's like, she's a regular on the show and, to just like make space for me, you hear stories of, people getting egos once they have achieved a certain thing, and she is ego-less. Just like being around her as a friend and as a colleague, it's definitely taught me about, how to be, how to live, and the things that are necessary and unnecessary when you gain a sense of a sense of accomplishment. So it was dope. I can't talk too much about it, but it was just like it was a key.
Let's just veer off to the where did your inspiration come to become an actress?
Interesting. So I started when I was when I was in I think 7th grade. My English, I used to write poetry. So my English teacher, so we had an assignment. So then my English teacher submitted my poem. It was like the only one in class. She submitted to an anthology of like young students or something like that. And it was like, oh my gosh, my poem got published. And it was like, whatever. And then she was like, you need to speak to the drama teacher. And I'm like, okay, like I don't act or do drama. But it was like, okay, I just went and, met the drama teacher. So I went to a school that had 7th, 8th, and high school in it. So the drama teacher was like a high school English teacher. So I started like doing competitions with her, like poetry competitions. I remember my first one, girl, I sucked. I was terrible. I was terrible. I forgot. I was so nervous when I got up there. I forgot my lines. I remember just crying when I got off stage. It was terrible. I don't know why my English teacher said, you need to speak to the drama teacher, but she did. So, but I stayed doing it. So that's when I got into forensics and speech debate. And then we would have these competitions every week. So I started with poetry interpretation, and I would be doing Maya Angelou's poetry, Nikki Giovanni's poetry, like all of these amazing Black poets. And then I started doing prose interpretation and then like dramatic interpretation, like taking these, taking plays and just doing excerpts from them. And I started winning. And then I started like competing against all of these, I went to school in Newark, New Jersey, and I was going to all of these white schools that had all of this access, all of this technology. I remember, well, first of all, living in the inner city, your high schools are like jail.
Yeah.
And I remember going out to like these suburbs and saying, oh, there was something in me that was like, oh, there's a level of care and concern. There's a level of value that somebody is placing on your life. I don't know that I knew it consciously, but walking into those spaces, it was like, oh, there's a level of me recognizing that somebody doesn't feel like I'm worthy of that. And it definitely did something to me. Like it when I in those spaces, it made me say, okay, I need to do better. I need to prove myself because also in those spaces you would hear white people speaking of Newark as like, oh, you're from Newark, as if that means that, clearly I'm less than, I'm not good enough, and all of those
Yeah.
things. So it just made me really want to prove myself. And like by the time I was a senior, I was winning state and national competitions, and because the reason why I was winning is because I was loving doing it. Like I found a groove, like being on stage was like, oh, wait a minute, this is the thing. Because I thought I was going to be, my mother said I should be a teacher. My father said I should be a lawyer. So that's what I was going to be. And then all of a sudden I found like art. And like, I think, something blossomed for me. So then
Yeah,
it
it
was
did.
like,
Yes,
what you
it
say?
did. It blossomed. I mean, look at
Listen,
you all over the place on everybody's stage and everybody's playing. You was working at Williamstown with Essa Pace Murkison. Come on now.
yes, girl. Well,
You
it's what
you
art does.
you've blossomed. You inspired me.
Oh,
Just watching you on stage, watching you on TV, just all the things that you've done and have accomplished so far have really inspired me. And that leads me to my next question because of you being inspired, you loving what you do, you loving the poetry, you getting into acting, going to Temple and
hmm
NYU, and now we have this actress, artist who decided along this journey to start her own business called Our Black Tresses. And
hmm
I mean, and which all of us, all the Black women in our tribe, we thank you because the minute I found out that you was going around doing everybody's hair, I was like, let me call her because I want to do my hair.
Listen,
You know what I mean? You
absolutely.
cut my hair short. I remember you cut my hair short. You helped me
Yep.
with my hair proms, girl. Yes. And so just my first red carpet look, which I don't have a picture of. I didn't even think about it, but
I
just I
know.
know I should have. Like now that I think about it, I'm like, damn, I should have had that damn picture.
Exactly, exactly.
And you've done my headshots and you've done so much for
Mhm.
us. And I can't thank you enough for creating this business. Um, where did your love of hair come from? And why did you start Our Black Tresses?
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't know where my love of hair came from. I remember being a little girl and like, I had like little cousins and I would see my grandmother doing their hair and I wanted to do their hair. So I asked my grandmother to teach me how to braid and she did. And I think I've forgotten that. And when I think back on it, like I just think back on like the beauty of that, like the tradition of passing that intimate that intimate act down to me. Like it just makes me feel so blessed that my grandmother just took the time to teach me that. But yeah, so as a result, I was just doing hair. I would do my Barbie doll's hair, whatever. And then I do remember a specific. I don't think I wanted to do hair when I was a little girl. I just wanted to learn. So I remember being in high school and hating my hair and being bored one summer and saying, I'm gonna do something to my hair. So I remember like putting weaves in my hair, braids, and then going to school and people were like, oh my God, I like your hair. Could you do my hair? And then I'm doing my friend's hair. Like my friend is like, yo, can you do me a ponytail? Can you give me some flat twists? And then like that's kind of what it was. And I was doing hair for like $10, for
Nice.
free, whatever. Just to do it and because I love just doing it. And then in terms of acting, I don't know if you also want me to, talk
You
about that.
this is all you, honey. I'm so interested. I'm learning so much about you. So whatever you want to say it, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember, so it just like hair was just something I did. I remember people saying in college, oh, you need to like go make some money, start doing hair. But I just felt like, who's gonna pay me to do their hair? Like I just didn't feel like good enough. And it's interesting because I feel like that good enough theme is not just about the thing you think it's about. It's something you battle in
Mm-hmm.
everything when
Yeah.
you feel not good enough. But I never did it in college. And I remember getting into grad school, and of course we would do shows, and they had nobody to do our hair in these shows, and I would be doing my castmates' hair, my hair, and I remember asking the costume department head, like, okay, if I wanted to be like a wig or hair designer, how do I do that? And she just kind of gave me like some tidbits, but that was it. It just felt like more of a dream. I was like, hey, there's nobody that knows how to do black hair could I do it? So, but I just kept on my acting journey. I remember graduating. And then I got into my first professional production at a major regional theater, and they didn't have anybody that could braid one of the actresses' hair. It was just
Wow.
cornrows. And I
Mm,
was confused because I knew that Black women had come through there.
yeah.
And they also had no relationships with any salons in the area. I was like, something isn't right about this. So the actress was stressing about having to go to New York on her one day off. So she would ultimately have no days off. It was a hard play to do. And I was like, girl, I will do your cornrows. And then I ended up doing like another actress's twist. And then like from there, I remember getting into my next play. I helped somebody with the wig. Like then it just kind of evolved. And I think my friends recognized that I was doing hair and wanted to help in that way. So people would ask me, hey, I'm in this show. There's no hair wig designer. There's only me. I'm the only Black girl, but I need my hair done. Can I pass on your information to the costume designer? So it would be like a trickle down effect. And
Mhm.
ultimately, people started knowing me as the person that would kind of come in and help with the hair when theater companies hadn't planned for us,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
the thing that is like, the insult to injury. Why haven't you planned for Black women? Why don't you know that this is a thing? Why aren't you giving us the support? And I wanted to give it. So ultimately, from there, then people trusted me to design shows. And ultimately, that's kind of how my business began.
I love that. And so what would you say the biggest challenge would be? Because yes, like you were saying, they don't plan for us. Like they want to do that one show in February, right? They, for the season, and then they don't know how to market to our people or get the hair done, and all of this. So would you say that's your biggest challenge when you come in? Like the video we saw with you working at Soho Rep. Coming in, and the challenge would be what the language of talking about Black women's hair to these white institutions, or what do you find the biggest challenge would be?
So you mean like for me coming in as a designer,
Yeah,
or
coming in, yeah, when you come in as a designer, design the hair for Black women and men.
I would say the biggest challenge actually is them not recognizing how much of a need it is, and then
Mm-hmm.
budget is a challenge. Like the major challenge is when I'm having to come in at the last minute because you did not plan, even though the actress probably said, hey, my own hair isn't going to work, or I need some hair support. When they've said it at the beginning and you've ignored it, now it's the week of tech, and you are now trying to scramble, and you realize, oh, this actress needs her hair done. Or I know we wanted to use her hair, but the weather doesn't allow her hair to necessarily stay in the same state, or it's more maintenance for her to have to deal with her hair. Now we have to figure something out. Like it's hard to come in at the last minute and try to be a miracle worker.
Mm-hmm.
But I've done that a lot and have been like down for that. I think the other thing is often when I'm going into a theater, they don't really have there isn't always a hair wig supervisor that knows how to do natural hair. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I can come in and, set the styles, but the styles have to be maintained by somebody else for the rest of the run. So now, there has to be somebody to be trained. And I feel like another challenge is that we need to be opening doors for Black women or for women who just understand natural hair to get into these jobs. Often
Mm-hmm.
it's about, oh, somebody knows somebody, or it's this, person who's gone to this school or gone to this program that has some access. But I think oftentimes Black people don't know that this is a job. I don't know how many high school students know that hair wig supervisor is a job in theater, or
Mm-hmm.
even in terms of hair wig design in theater. They're not necessarily thinking about that. They know that you can be a Black actor, but like they're just like, i I would love to start to open up more doors for Black people to have access.
I love that. No, that's very important too, because when I'm even with my show After Forever, I was like, okay, who's the person? I need a Black woman. She needs to know how to do natural hair. And that was on the first day I got cast. That's what I got, and I got my girl Angela, where She does my hair, Angela Linware, but on for the
Yeah.
show. But I guess what the next question I have is, as the doors are opening and as you're, the trailblazer for this path for Black men and women who'll come after you, especially Black women. Um, what is the trying to get into the union like? Because is that part of it? Because even though yes, we have some amazing Black actresses that are working in theater, film, TV, how do we get them to even get into the trailer?
In terms of getting black stylists into the trailer.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I think that there has to be what I do know is that there is some shift in um policy in the unions happening, or people are working to try to shift it. Because like right now, in order to get into the union, you need a certain amount of hours of work on a set. How do you get that amount of hours on a set if you don't even have access in the first place?
Hmm.
So it's like, oh, white people, and I don't want to just generalize white people, but that's ultimately really
That's the
what it is.
dominant. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, the white people who run these companies are making way for their niece, their nephew, their child to be inducted, or giving them space to come and get hours so that they can get into the union because they know them. And often, they're not necessarily giving the person of color that level of access and that level of opportunity. So one thing I think, things need to shift in terms of the rules of getting into the union. One rule is having a cosmetology license. They are saying that a barbering license can work, but having a natural hair certificate is not um, is not a viable is not a viable option for being able to be able to be in the union. I think
But it
there's some
should be.
exactly like
Because
you need to.
especially when you see Black actresses rocking their natural hair more and more. Because when we first started, you didn't see it as much. But then you got Viola Davis whipping off her wig on her show, How to Get Away with Murder. She's in her natural. She's
Totally,
walking the red carpet with her little short natural. I mean,
totally.
so it's just there's so many Black women rocking their natural hair on TV now that
Mhm.
should be a given, I guess.
Absolutely. It's interesting because Viola Davis's production company, Juvie Productions, she only hires people who know how to do natural hair. But of
My
course,
my
she
girl.
would.
Yeah, my girl.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think there have been things in terms of these unions that have been that have strategically kept Black people out.
Mhm,
So I
mhm.
know that there is going to be a shift, but there also has to be an understanding. I think actors have to speak up more. The people who are in power and who can change things or who have a voice can speak up more. But I think now people are slowly hearing. But I
Mhm.
do think like we need to like talk to producers. Um, I've been having these conversations with costume designers, even about like producers in theater. And when you are having a production meeting with a producer, you need to say, hey, we really need more hair support for these actors of color. The more costume people who speak up, the more the producers have to listen. So yeah.
Amen. Nice.
Hmm.
That was a good. Yes, you better keep dropping some gems. That was a segue to the next question, but that was a good conversation. Thank you so much for that. Um,
Sure.
so you were commissioned by the Movement Theater Company. They were looking to amplify Black designers and their
Yeah.
voices, and you were commissioned to create pathways, which we're seeing right now on the screen. What inspired you to create this piece? And why? Because I've watched it multiple times. It's just so beautiful and just intricate, and there's so much detail in the hair and just what you're trying to say and just the look. So I would love to hear more about where this came from for you.
Oh my gosh. So I mean, it came from the inspiration came from the civil rights movement that we have been in, particularly over the summer. The loss of so many lives and how it impacted me. I remember feeling so helpless. I remember feeling so afraid, like just to walk outside of my house. I would try to go for walks because I realized that it was important to my mental health. And I just remember feeling paralyzed by fear that when I saw a cop, he was going to do something to me. And there was also a recognition. It was like, oh, I knew this on a certain level, but it was a clearer recognition that the police are not here to protect me. And then the question arose for me, well, where is Black women's protection? And then I started asking God, like, where are you? Like, how, what is this space you have us in? When are we going to be redeemed? Like, I'm a Christian. So I
Amen.
read my Bible and I know that I know that the children of Egypt were delivered from the hand of
Mhm.
Pharaoh. And I know that, they have escaped bondage, even in terms of um, their, even in terms of like Nazi Germany, the Jews have like, they haven't been, I mean, and I know that, clearly there still is oppression, but overall, it feels like Black people are still, they're still being oppressed at an exorbitant rate, I will say. And I'm asking God, so I see what you've done for them. When are you going to do something for us? I feel like I'm borrowing a faith from somebody else. So
Mm,
God, I need you to show up for Black people.
mm,
So
mm.
I started thinking about protection, and then I knew that I wanted to incorporate hair in it. And then I started doing some research, and I found out that uh, even when Black people were stolen from the shores of Africa, there would be women braiding rice into their children's hair because they did not know where they would be taken to, or even on the plantation when they knew that their children were going to be sold off into slavery, they would braid rice into their hair in order to make sure that they had something to eat. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, oh, Black women have protected themselves and each other for generations. Oh, we are our protection. Also, in terms of braids and knowing that Black women, it is said that Black women would braid escape routes or messages into their cornrows when they were out in the fields. And I'm like, there's something about hair. There's something about the magic of hair that Black women know, but that white people don't know. Because they would, even, since slavery, they tried to make us believe that our hair was wool, dirty, something that was unclean, just wrong. If it wasn't straight like theirs, it was just, they rejected it, which is why we have tried to change our hair for so
Yeah.
many generations. And um, I just wanted to like amplify the beauty and the magic of Black hair, as well as the magic of Black women, and Black women also being the face of God.
Ooh,
That
ooh, that
there's
needs to be on
something,
a t-shirt. Black women, the face of
yeah,
God. It's just like,
totally. But that there's something supernatural about all of this. But
yes.
that, that's why they fight so hard to make us believe that we're nothing. It's because, oh, there's something greater and higher in our power and in our beauty. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that's
Oh
where it
my
came
God.
from.
That is beautiful. For those who are watching and who will watch this later, you can go, you can type in pathways and it'll come up. You can watch the whole video on YouTube. It's very beautiful to watch, and the details. And now that you have the behind the scenes story of it, it's even more powerful when you
Mhm.
watch it. So make sure you check out Pathways after this interview. So listen, that's it. These interviews are usually in and out. We have some good conversation. But before,
Listen.
look at, amen. I love seeing your face. But before we go, I like to ask each of my guests about their cherry pick. The cherry pick is a way for the community to pay it forward to bring information to us that we may not know about, or some of us may know. But I started the cherry pick for that reason, just so I can just keep learning about what's going on, what Blackness is happening in the world, in the
Sure.
country, in the city, in the state. So, what is your cherry pick for today?
Well, I really love the company Mess in a Bottle, which stands for Message in a Bottle. I just love like well, I've ordered t-shirts from there, but just also knowing that it's a Black owned company, started by a Black woman, and the messages that she puts on the shirts just really inspires. So I just kind of want people to know, hey, if you haven't heard of Mess in the Bottle, check it out because she's just dope. Like I just love to see dope Black women. So and shining and thriving. So yeah.
That's a good one. Yes, I went to look at her and research her, and I love her story. And I made it I made a note to make sure that I personally get one of her T-shirts as well and support because I think that is important. And thank you for bringing her to my attention because that's the cool thing about the cherry pick is that I love learning something each week, something new, a new book,
Sure.
a new company, a new poem, whatever my guests bring up, it fulfills me as well. And so I just think that it's important that we keep the dollars circulating in our community.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like it makes me feel good to just give, if it's $20 here or there, but it's going into the community. It's gonna because I wanted to stay in the community,
Yes.
So a Mess in a Bottle is really good, and I like the packaging. So when you guys go onto her website, the way that she sends the T-shirt is really cool too. So I won't give it away. You just have to go and do some research. But if you do decide to order from her, you get a little fun little package. The way that the shirt is sent to you. So I think that's good. But Nikiya, I want to thank you so much because I know you out here in these streets working, doing your thing, traveling, and you said yes to me in the middle of your day, and I just want to say that I love you for that, and I want to thank you for doing that because you didn't have to, because I know a lot of people just want you, they want your services, they want you, to come in and help them with their blocks, when it comes to hair, when it comes to all of that. So I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me and my audience and just talk about Black girl magic and Black women and Black love. I just love this interview. This interview is such a joyous interview today.
Yes, first of all, I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful that you asked. And I'm also grateful that you trust me with your hair. Because I know that's just such an intimate thing.
Yes, I remember the first time when I text you about my hair and because hair is a thing for us and for me to sit down and just really we were being girls in my apartment and how I was just talking to you intimately about my needs and what was going on with me and how certain places I was embarrassed by it just to be able to talk to you because you are very trustworthy and you didn't make me feel shame about it. You just because you love hair so much you just made me feel comfortable to share with you what was going on with me. So I just really appreciate that about you. And not everybody can do that. There's people out there who know how to do hair, but they don't have the gift that you have as far as, you're not alone in this journey when it comes to our hair. We all have bad hair days. We all, we cry when we get our hair cut, just all these things that are happening. You just have a way of making it comfortable, even if I, felt uneasy at times. So I appreciate that about you.
I'm glad, sis. Anytime, child.
Yes, girl. I'm gonna be calling once we can get back in these streets and I can do some red carpets. I'm gonna call you.
Yeah, first of all, I love red carpet stuff. I'm like, yes, let's dress up, girl. How you want your hair done? What we gonna do? No, for real. That's so fun.
So I'm excited to see that have that happen in the next year. I'm gonna call it out 2021. But anyway, with that said, I just want to everybody wave goodbye to Nikiya and thank you so much for coming.
Yes, anytime. Love you, sis.
I love you, girl. I love you so much. Yes. Guys, that was such a good interview and so much insight and just so much details about Black women and the hair and just even in our industry. So, if you've been hearing stories about Black women and their hair and being on set and being in the trailers and theater and film and not getting the hair care and the love that they need for their hair, it's a real thing. And so I hope that what you've learned from Nikiya proves that, but she is needed. And I look forward to what she's going to bring to this industry and also bringing people behind her. I just think that's very important too. So before we go, just remember, you can find me Sundays with the Cherry on Top on Instagram and Sundays with Cherry on Twitter. You can go over into the chat. You can get Nikiya's social media as well. You can get her Instagram for her personal page, her acting page, and her Instagram for Our Black Tresses are there, so you can see some of her work, which are beautiful. And you can see her clients. She has 8 list clients. I can't list them all. She has so many. But that'll be another hour, so I'm gonna let you just go over there and look at that. And every Sunday, 5 p.m. live. And my next guest, which I'm really excited to bring back, not back, but bring to you, is actor and Broadway producer Ron Simons. He's going to come on Sunday, November 15th. He's right up there on the screen at 5 p.m. And we're just going to talk about how he got into producing Broadway, being one of the few Black men and Black people, actually. There's on Broadway as a producer, and what's the difference between being the lead producer and associate producer, and how many Black men and women are leading producing shows. So we're just going to talk about that and the challenges that brings, especially during the shutdown, and what did that look like for him. So that's going to be a really good conversation. So for those of you guys who are into theater and really want an insight of behind the scenes of what's going on, I know Ron really wants to talk about that. So we're gonna hopefully get some answers, because they made an announcement. Is going to be pushed back till September 2021. So I'm pretty sure he can bring us hopefully some comfort, because I need my Broadway. Okay. But anyway, that's it, guys. So I'll see you next week, Sunday, with the cherry on top, live 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And thank you for just coming back each week. And for those of you guys who can't watch it live, thank you for the emails and the text when you guys watch it later. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to just go back and watch it later, because it's bigger than me. I'm doing this for us, for the community, and so I really appreciate the support. So with that said, I'll see you guys soon. Okay, bye.
Holla.